Nah, ini ada yang kurang.
Kedengeran nggak?
Yes.
Kedengeran. Tes 1, 2, 3. Ninda, coba tes audionya.
Tes. Terus teman-teman ini dari tadi aku tuh masih trouble buat masuk ke Zoom sebenarnya. Terus ini aku pakai Google Chrome di laptop. Nah, Google Chrome di laptopnya nggak bisa virtual background. Gimana ya?
Nggak apa-apa, Ninda.
Kak, tolong approve Asta, Kak. Dia tadi keluar.
Tes. Cek.
Suaranya ada kok.
Oke, soalnya ini aku di DM suruh cek audio. Oke, thank you.
Suaranya jelas.
everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to the event Talk the NINT with the theme of community and cultural identity. So welcome. I see there are lots of participants joining in right now. So please do rename yourself as the name that you have registered. So today we will have interesting discussions with the theme of community and cultural identity with Mr. Cisha Dewantoro Nugraha, SSMA. Before that, I would like to warmly welcome all of the participants, the Honorable Ms. Erlin Estiana, and also all of the lecturers and the students of Universitas Gadjah Mada. So, anyone knows who helped this event? Who helped this event talk? NINT? Okay, so this event is held by the students of English Program Vocational School Universitas Gadjah Mada. Before we get started, my name is Karaninda Siregar, and I will be the host and I will guide this event this afternoon and will guide our discussions. Before we get started, I would like to give you about our rundowns and our house rules. Our event today will be started by opening, will be followed by Indonesia Raya, and then we will have opening speech from Mrs. Erlin Estiana Yuanti, SSMA, as the head of English Study Program Vocational School Universitas Gadjah Mada. And then we will have our first sessions with the theme of the youth and global technology, impacts and consequences. Will be followed by the second sessions, which is Borobudur and its sustainable development from the lens of locality. And the last sessions, which we are waiting for the most, is sessions by Mr. Cisha Dewantoro Nugraha, SSMA, who will be talking about Gundam phenomenon, community identity. And last, we will have also ice-breaking and also closing with photo sessions. And before we get started, I would like to floor about the house rules. First, the committee records the entire webinar sessions. Webinar participants are requested to turn off the microphone, so pay attention to your microphone, guys. And also, webinar participations are requested not to interrupt the speaker who delivers the material. Participants are allowed to ask questions when the questions and answer sessions is started by the moderator by writing in the chat box. So if you have any questions later on in the Q&A sessions, you can write it on the chat box. Last, at the end of the sessions, participants will be given a link to fill out an evaluation survey to get an e-certificate. So please pay attention. In order to get e-certificate, the participant must fill the presentation form in the beginning and the evaluation form at the last. So there will be two forms that you need to fill in order to get e-certificate. Before we get into our sessions, please take actions with courtesy to sing Indonesia Raya. Media team, the floor is yours. Since we are having technical problem, I will lead the Indonesia Raya songs by me. The participants, please follow the Indonesia Raya song. Hiduplah Indonesia Raya, Indonesia tanah air, tanah tumpah darah.
Darahku.
Di
Di
sana
sanalah aku
Aku
berdiri.
berdiri jadi pandu ibuku.
Indonesia,
Kebangsaanku, bangsa dan tanah
airku, marilah kita berseru, Indonesia bersatu. Hiduplah negeriku, bangsaku, rakyatku semuanya. Bangunlah jiwanya, bangunlah badannya untuk Indonesia Raya. Indonesia Raya, merdeka, merdeka, tanahku, negeriku yang ku cinta. Indonesia Raya, merdeka, merdeka. Indonesia Raya, merdeka, merdeka, negeriku yang ku cinta. Indonesia Raya, merdeka, merdeka, hiduplah Indonesia Raya.
Thank you for all of the participants. We are sorry because the technical problems, but it's okay. Next, we will have the opening speech from Mrs. Erlin Estiana Yuanti, SSMA, as the head of English Study Program, Vocational School, Universitas Gadjah Mada. For Miss Erlin, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Miss Ninda. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, and dear all of the friends joining this webinar. I'm pleased to welcome you all to the webinar on event stock number 9. Yeah. So it's on community and cultural identity. And this event is proudly presented to you by the students from MICE management class and also Indonesian cross-cultural communication and students conducting internship in public relations field. So in this webinar, I see several participants from outside UGM. So I would like to welcome you all and thank you so much for your interest in joining this webinar. And hopefully this webinar, we can, listen and discuss ideas on this community and cultural identity. Hopefully this webinar will be beneficial for all of us, and hopefully you have a good time and new friends, of course, from this webinar. And there will be 2 groups presenting today. They are students from Bachelor of Applied English. One group will be talking about the use and global technology, impacts and consequences, and the other one will be talking about Borobudur and its sustainable development from the lens of locality. I believe these topics are very interesting for us, to listen, and later on feel free to share and ask your ideas or perhaps ask questions to these groups. And also the last but not least, at the end of our session there will be another talk from Mr. Chisya. Hello, Mr. Chisya, it's good to have you here today. Mr. Chisya will be talking about Gundam phenomenon and
Thank
community
you.
identity. So perhaps without further ado, let's start this webinar. And by saying Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, I officially open this webinar. Thank you so much for all the committee who have tried so hard to prepare this event. And thank you so much. And I hope you enjoy the webinar. Yeah, thank you so much. Have a good day, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much for Mrs. Erlin Estiana Yuanti, SSMA. So before we get deeper. So I would like to greet also our viewers on YouTube, because besides we are on Zoom right now, we also have audiences from YouTube. And although we have the sessions full in English, but no worries, because we have live translations on the chat below. So no worries, guys. We will have translations on the chat that you may have noticed from the beginning of our event. So without further ado, we will have the first sessions with the theme of the youth and global technology impacts and consequences, which will be delivered by Alia, Violeta, Azhar, Dea, and Gresica. For the presenters, the floor is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan. Okay, first of all, we are from Group 1 and we're gonna present about the youth and global technology, impacts and consequences. Let's get to know us. My name is Alia Violeta Sarah Fadila, and then Azhar Faikoh Nur Salsabil, Gresica Putri Marella, and Hanatia Mandarani Desideria. Are youth influencers have impacts on people? What are their consequences of using the technology? And what are their motivation to influence people? Now let us move on to the material. Youth and technology. Technology has helped immensely to boost access to large amount of information and has supported changes that have transformed our lives forever. The innovative potential of young people combined with the power of technology is already proving to be a powerful force on the road to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. Today, youth actively contribute to the creation of new jobs, economic empowerment of vulnerable groups, the promotion of better health system, and access to inclusive and quality education, and many more. Here are the example. Haifa Asdiri is a 19 years old Tunisian social activist, blogger, and also founder of Entrakras. This is an online platform designed for young entrepreneurs where people with similar ideas and interests converge, young entrepreneurs, investors, and sponsors. Actually, they just need support and opportunities from governments, civil society, and the private sector, and the involvement of their own communities, providing access to education and financing, boosting their creativity and innovation, and simply believing in their ideas will help them make their projects and vision a reality. Now, let's move on to the impacts and consequences that will be presented by Azhar.
Okay, thank you, Alia Violeta from the time, and I want to share about the impacts and consequences technology for youth. Let's start with the positive impact. First is with technology, young people can communicate with people around the world. They can communicate across countries and make friends on social media sites such as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and etc. And it can help teens feel more connected to their friends' feelings and daily lives, and also offers teens a place to receive support from others during challenging times. And the second is data exchange media. With the download and upload feature, we can share something and get something to other users so that it can increase knowledge and insight. And the third is easily access information to inform and educate themselves. Technology provides window to the world and access to thousands of learning resources. Technology can also be used as a tool for delivering education where it is most needed. The last is having skill to create content that adds value for themselves and others. In this digital era, many young people appear to share their creative ideas as content creators through YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. The types of content that are created are very diverse and can add value to all who see it, so it can become an arena for youth to hone their creative ideas as a productive generation. And these are some negative impact of technology. The first is easy access to pornographic sites. With increasingly advanced technology, the internet is inherent in everyone, especially youth. Pornographic sites that are spread freely and widely do not rule out young people to easily access the site. Second is technology addiction. Internet and technology can blossom into an addiction, especially in the use of games and social media. Some young people become so obsessed with their activities online that they neglect their real-life activities. The third is technology many cause a loss of empathy as we become more accustomed to online violence. They do not socialize in the community because they often spend time with their smartphones. This can affect the attitude that grows from a person, so they tend not to care about the environment around them. And the last is cyberbullying. Indirectly, social media makes youth feel complete to change their character or appearance according to the ideal standards of most people. If they do not meet certain expectations of netizens, they will receive ridicule of insult on social media. It can have negative psychological impact on the victim. And the last is the consequences of technology. First, a loss of privacy online and risk of hacking creates more deceit. Some young people many negligent when saving their personal information on smartphone. It can put privacy and safety at risk. For example, online sex crimes against children. Sex offenders use social networking sites to get information about the victim. It's important to be cautious about putting personal information online or communicating with strangers. Young children and teenagers are especially vulnerable to this type of deceitful behavior. Second, brain health and mental health. The brain is very sensitive to exposure to computer, smartphones, tablets, or television. Technology use triggers pathway in the brain in the same direct and insight way the particular substance affect a drug addict's brain. Moreover, this can contact overstimulation shift the nervous system into fight or flight mode, which can disturb the biological and hormonal system, resulting in the mood and mental health disorder. And the last consequences is too much screen time. This can affect a person's mood. Young people exposed to modern technology are less likely to display high levels of well-being. This is important because if children are spending 4 or more hours online, then they have less physical contact with others. And then let's move on some young influencer that will be presented by Jessica. Jessica, time is yours.
Thank you, Azhar.
And now I'm going to share material about influencer. The first influencer we're going to discuss is Jerome Pauline. He's a YouTuber, also active in other social media such as Twitter and Instagram. He was born in 1998. He has 6 million subscribers on his YouTube channel, Nihongo Matapu. He is known for getting a full scholarship to Japan, Waseda University, majoring in applied mathematics. He creates various kinds of video content on his YouTube channel, such as his daily life in Japan, general knowledge, math battles, and many more. Jerome has a dream to become Indonesia's education minister. Now, Jerome is still active studying, and in April, Jerome will be undergoing his 4th year of university and starting his thesis research. Second is Aravinda Kirana. Aravinda was born in 1999. She is a traditional dancer, YouTuber, and also active influencer on social media. She and her friends create the Berkain Bersama and Berbatik Bersama trend on social media lately. This trend started from her video with her friends that wearing modified traditional fabrics going viral. This trend invites people to wear traditional clothes that have been modified in everyday life. So far, what is imagined about traditional clothes is something that is only used at certain times and seems old-fashioned. Aravinda said that she was used to wearing traditional clothes since she was 6 years old. Malay Songket clothes and Makassar sarung are her favorites. Because of this trend, many people make videos and photos using modified traditional fabrics and upload them to their social media accounts. Last is Kalisa Chantara. She is an influencer that active on Instagram and YouTube, and also one of pioneering trend Berkain Bersama. She owns a clothing line at Self First, and all the designs are about body and skin positivity. She made the Brave to be Bare trend that invites everyone to love themselves and normalize body hair. In her YouTube video, she reminds people by giving word, perfect people are never real, and real people are never perfect, which of course, this makes many people who initially insecure about themselves become more confident and able to accept all the shortcomings in themselves. She often opened for public discussion to talk about sexual harassment, RUU PKS, toxic masculinity, mental health, body shaming, and many other topics. Another trend she made is Tell Them, which invite us to tell our loved one that we are very grateful to have them. She created this trend because she was born in a family that didn't express how much they love and grateful for each other. So she wanted that with this trend, we would be able to express our affection and thank the person who is precious to us. These are some of the photos that follow the Berkain Bersama trend that we took from social media. Now, let's move on to the interview slides that will be presented by Dia. Dia, time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Grecica, for your time. So in this section, I will talk about our result from our interview with one of the youth influencers, and she is Sasa Zahra. And now let's move to the profile of her. So her name is Zahra Dwi Wahyuni, or known as Ara. And she is a 19 years old girl who started using social media since she was a kid and began famous with her lip sync videos. And she is currently living in Bekasi, West Java. And she is also a college student in Jakarta and majoring in communication science. And now, here are our social media platforms that she used. As you can see on the pictures, she hits over 400K followers on Instagram, and on TikTok, she hits over 150K followers with 3.4 million likes, which very cool, right? And now, let's move to the captions. So how did Ara start being famous? So she made her Instagram account in 2014 and made her videos on Musical.ly, and she dropped it on Instagram with no purpose or just for fun. And surprisingly, many people liked it until she became the exclusive creator on Musical.ly and now on TikTok. And what did Ara get and how does it feel? Since she get a lot of followers on her social media platforms, many people adore her so much and she gets a lot of attention too. So she feels very grateful and happy for it. And what Ara influence and does it have impacts to her followers? So she always gives positive vibes on her social media. She often opens discussions with her followers by using the question box features on Instagram. And she also often replying to the comments and direct messages to her. And many people are happy for she's replying to them, and they're showing their happiness via Instagram story. And she knew that she has that impacts to her followers. And also, what is Ara's motivations to influence people? So she always wanted everyone to know how important it is to love yourself and be confident, because she always thinks that if she's not confident, then what about her followers? So since she knew that she has that impacts, so she wants everyone to know that every each of you guys are very precious. Next, we all know that being influencers also have consequences. So for being an influencer, what is her consequences for Ara? So she said that she hasn't experienced any bad consequences for being an influencer yet, and since she always give positivity and always being herself, so it's not a really big deal for her. Anyways, Ara also gave us a little message, and it says, always be grateful for who you are, love yourself more so people can see that you are worth all the way. You're shining on your own way. That's very beautiful thoughts by her, and you guys have to take note of it. And now let's move to the conclusion slide. So we all know from the presentation that the youth influencers are very impactful to the social media, especially to the young generations. There are many positive things that we can learn from them, like by being proud of ourselves, our cultures, and many more. And that's all. The youth and global technology, the impacts and consequences presentation from Group 1. We're really sorry if there were any mistakes that we made. Thank you to all the audiences for participating. If you guys have any questions, please let us know through the comment sections. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, namo buddhaya, salam kebajikan, om santi santi om. Bye.
Thank you for Alia, Violeta, Azza, Dea, and Jessica for the great presentations. It is very insightful. We were talking about the youth and global technology impacts and consequences. It began like technology. Youth, it is very identic with technology, right? Like we use technology every day, and we cannot like get rid ourselves from the technology. It started with the technology, how it has negative and positive impacts, but turns out we can utilize it for a positive purpose, like the youth influencers that the group talked about. So if you have any questions, you can chat on the comment below with the format of name underscore to whom the questions and underscore the questions. So while we are waiting also for the questions, we will heading to the second session about Borobudur and its sustainable development from the lens of locality, delivered by Amelia, Aska, Hisana, and Ima. To the presenters, the floor is yours.
Thank you for the time and the opportunity. Good afternoon, everyone. We were from Group 2, want to present about Borobudur and its sustainable development from the lens of locality. Before we go to the material, let me introduce our team. My name is Amelia Dewi Nurrahma, and my three other friends, Muhammad Khairul Imamil, Aska Ahayari, and Hisana Fikra Hanifah. Next slide, please. First, let me talk about Borobudur. Borobudur Temple is a Buddhist temple that was built over 1,200 years from the 8th through 9th centuries. This temple located in Magelang, central of Java, but some people guess that Borobudur is in Yogyakarta, and of course, it is false. Then let's move to the next material. Imam, time is yours.
Yeah, some days ago, our Minister of Religion, Mr. Yakut Khalil Qomas, declared a plan to create Borobudur Temple as a home praying for all Buddhists around the world. This plan got some positive reasons and support from our government. Even though this is a personal statement, but our government really supporting this plan. For example, our Minister of Human and Cultural Development, Mr. Muhajir Effendi, and also the government of Central Java, Mr. Ganjar Pranowo, and also some political parties really strongly support this plan. So what does it mean? I think shows that our government really excited to realize this plan. So let's think what the reason stand behind this program or stand behind this plan. This based on some journals that we have read, we get three most important reasons that stand behind this plan. For the first is developing the tourism and advancing the local economies. This is really an important thing because today we have lived in pandemic era that everything is really disrupted. So we need to create more opportunities to increase our tourism. And the third is rebuilding the national integration strongly. All of us, I think, really know that our national integration now is become the most hottest issue today. Let's move to the next slide. Yeah, I think maybe some of us are really thinking that this is a new plan, but unfortunately, this is not a new plan. So what it means, it means that our Minister of Religion is not ngawur, but he has some resources, he has some he has some journals and literatures, so he are not scared to declare this program. This discourse has been tried to be expanded by organizing Borobudur International Buddhist Conference by the management of Borobudur Temple, especially PT Taman Wisata Candi Borobudur. This event is having been held since 2019, but unfortunately, because in 2020 we have a pandemic, now it is still being cancelled. Next slide, please.
A Buddhist figure named Suhani Senjaya responded positively to the discourse of Minister of Religion. According to him, if Borobudur could become one of the destination of religious tourism in Indonesia, especially for world Buddhists, it would be something very good and positive for economic growth in Indonesia, especially for people around Borobudur. Also, Governor of Central Java, Ganjar Pranowo, who approved this idea. He has met Buddhist religious organization and knows that there are about 5 million active Buddhists in the world. This has the potential because in Buddhism there are at least 5 holidays. There will be millions of people who come to Borobudur several times a year, and according to him, it will be a great potential. There are 2 functions of Borobudur. One is spiritual tourism destination and educational tourism destination. Now let's move on to the next slide. And we
The activities is flag ceremony is always held its impact on the image of Borobudur. It is from heritage tourism destination to heritage. Next slide, please.
Now move to the locality lines. The surrounding community still consider that Borobudur is a sacred place, although it has been used for worship since a long time. But the community still support for the celebration of Vesak Day in Borobudur. Celebrate by walking from Mendu Temple to Borobudur Temple, and it's becoming a tradition for the people around the Borobudur. From the explanation that has been told by my friends, we can conclude that based on public response and various locality activities in USEC of Borobudur, the discourse of the Ministry of Religion is very potential to the realized, so that Borobudur tourists can be increased.
Yeah, that's all everyone. So thank you for watching our presentation, and I do apologize for our mistake in connection of the internet. So sorry for this, but I hope all of you are enjoying our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you to Amelia, Aska, Hisana, and Imam for the presentation. So how about the participants here? Have you visited Borobudur? Yeah, actually Borobudur, besides it has religious functions, it also has good potentials in tourism as tourism attractions. And as far as I know, Borobudur is internationally recognized by as the 10th best Indonesia tourism attractions. So if you have any questions for the participants, either it is for group 1 or group 2, you can chat on the comment below with the format name underscore to whom, to which group, and underscore the questions. While we are waiting for questions, I would like to ask to group 2, how do you feel? Like how long you guys research for this material Borobudur, and what either you observe or you do research online, or how? Maybe you can tell a bit about your research. The representative would like to tell us the stories.
Thanks for your question, Mbak Karandinda. Especially we do a journal for the search of these materials. We have spent 4 weeks to create this presentation, and also all of us from our group has different experience when we visited Borobudur Temple. Because I live in Magelang, it's near from Borobudur Temple. I have some friends who live in Borobudur, and they can tell me some stories about Borobudur Temple and its activities. And also, I have visited Borobudur Temple for more than one time. I really enjoy it, and I also really really lucky because when I visited Borobudur Temple, I got some activities like Jatilan, and then also Dayaan, and some cultural activities that support Borobudur development on its tourism, spiritual, and also educational, like that.
Thank you. And also maybe you can inform us about, since we are in the middle of pandemic COVID-19, how if we want to visit Borobudur, is there any requirements like, for example, rapid test or swab test or anything like that?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. So maybe we can go through their Instagram or website to know more if we want to visit Borobudur, maybe, because this presentation, so, I want to visit Borobudur. Okay, we can discuss it later because we are having questions. Let me read it first. Questions for Koirul Imamul from Dava Marcel. Koirul Imamul, you there?
Yeah.
Okay. The question is, jika rencana tentang pengelolaan Borobudur berjalan lancar, apakah nanti Indonesia, terutama Borobudur, bisa menjadi tujuan negara wisata religi seperti Mekkah yang menjadi tanah suci bagi umat Muslim? So, if the plans regarding Borobudur management, is there any chance Indonesia, especially Borobudur, could be the religious tourism attractions like Mecca? Maybe, yeah. For Khairul Imamul, you can answer.
Okay, thanks for this great question. I want to explain that in this case, we have different cases. Mecca is different with Borobudur because Mecca is written on Islamic, Islamic Quran. So this is a spiritual aspect that really, this is I want to say this is a mandatory activities in spiritual. Then Borobudur is not written on Tripitaka. Borobudur is not one of Buddhist place for praying, but this program, this plan from our Minister of Religion is purposed to develop its tourism. So for the first reason, it really can develop our tourism, especially for Borobudur and its around place. But to make Borobudur go to the same stage as Mecca, I think it's impossible because Borobudur is not a mandatory place that should be visited from Buddhist prayer like that.
Thank you, Khairul Imamul, for the answer. So for Dafa, we hope that it answers your questions. So the next questions to group 1 from Isti Farida Ramadhani. Group 1, ready? The question is why the video of Arawinda and her friends went viral on social media so that the hashtag Berkain Bersama trend was created.
Okay, thank you, Farida, for the question. So Arawina said that she used to wear traditional fabrics since she was 6, and she joined a community named Suara Gembira. It's an entity that fights for a revolution in Indonesian arts and culture. And she and her friends made a video wearing traditional fabrics that have been styled and uploaded on social media. And it went viral because people who saw it were so amazed and thought that it was so cool because they can modify traditional fabrics into something that more fashionable and modern. So I think that's how Berkain Bersama trend was created. Thank you.
Thank you for the answers. So it has been very dynamic discussions and very insightful. So the participants must wait it for the last sessions, which is our main sessions. Our main sessions, we will talk about Gundam phenomenon community identity. We will have our amazing speaker, Mr. Cisha Dewantara Nugraha SSMA. Mr. Cisha Dewantara Nugraha SSMA is an English lecturer in English language program in Vocational School Universitas Gadjah Mada. He was also an English teacher in Pusat Pelatihan Bahasa UGM, and he worked as translators in several companies. Without further ado, please welcome Mr. Cisha Dewantara Nugroho SSMA.
Okay, thank you, Karaninda, for the opening. That's quite awesome job you have done here. So we are very proud for you, for all the groups that have presented. And now, maybe this is the part where everyone has been waiting, but I don't think so because I think the previous two presentations are very interesting indeed. Okay, now without further ado, maybe let's have the last session first. Okay, I think my screen is mirroring, yeah? Let me fix it for a while. Okay. Okay. Right, can you please wait for a while? I'm gonna fix the mirror first. Okay. Okay. Cannot find the buttons. Let me see it first. Right, I think I will share the screen to check out if it's all right. If it's all right, then we do not need to fix anything. All right. Okay. Right. Have you been able to see my screen right now?
Yes, I
Okay.
can see it.
Right. So thank you for the wait. This is quite a tense situation because I'm gonna explain about the very hobby that I've been deep diving into several years. Okay. So maybe I would like to ask you first, is Gundam really ring a bell to you? Maybe some of you have been, what is it like, hearing about Gundam before. Have you ever heard about Gundam before? Well, it's called Gundam, but we Indonesians maybe tend to say it as Gundam, yeah? I think it's fine because we have our own differences, yeah, and experience with Gundam before. All right. Well, basically, this entertainment here that we are seeing right now, Gundam is not really a new thing in Indonesia, and it's been a global phenomenon right now, and in several years, even in this pandemic era. So I think most of you have already heard about the name before. Okay, now if you maybe somehow have just heard about the name, I would like to share my own knowledge about Gundam. Maybe some of the audiences would not agree with me because we have a different history with Gundam, of course. So what I am gonna share you now is my own version, yeah, the thing that I know about Gundam. All right, let's see here. So Gundam was created by Yoshiyuki Tomino and Sunrise Studio. You can see the photos on the right. The anime here, the Japanese name for animation series, was first airing in 1979. It's quite old actually. So Gundam has been celebrating its 40th anniversary this last year actually. And maybe you don't believe this, but Gundam failed to garner public attention at first. So in 1979, actually, it was intended to be 52 episodes, but it's cut down to 43. But a year after that, the series was a huge popularity when the Gundam plastic model line was introduced. So basically, the anime was saved by its own merchandise. I'm gonna explain later why it was so. But what you need to know, at that time, nobody was expecting to see an anime that is freshly invented, because with the birth of Gundam, it was starting an entirely new mecha anime genre, a real robot, as opposed to the already established, the pre-existing super robot genre. Well, if it's quite a new thing for you, I will explain slowly. So, mecha is the term for robot in the popular culture world. So when we are talking about mecha, then we are talking about robot, especially those that appears in anime or Japanese animation series. Yeah. So the real robot here is like the concept of robot that everyone can believe. Yeah. Not like super robot that is clearly beyond our imagination. And we are gonna be going back to that later. And from there, Gundam has spawning a massive franchise that lasts well to this day, both locally and internationally. So at first, it's only intended for the Japanese market, but after that, when Sunrise tried to export to abroad, it is quite popular as well. Although at first it was not so. Okay. So let's see. I'm summarizing the breakthrough that the Gundam has created so that it become the Gundam that we know now, that it can last well for the 40 years already. So let's see. When it firstly came out, Gundam is depicting the realistic side of war and politics. Although, yeah, I know that it's still a fantasy, the science fiction setting, but it's actually quite realistic in illustrating the effect of war and the consequences to humanity. When we are comparing to the old mecha genre, it's already, what is it like? It's really fantastic. It's just a robot versus the robot or robot versus the monsters. It's clearly that it's not talking other than the concept of justice versus injustice, something like that. And this is what makes Gundam interesting because it's telling us about the gray, ambiguous sense of justice. Because in Gundam, actually, if you're asking me, there is no real protagonistic or antagonistic side. You can freely choose the side that you like because everyone in Gundam has the reason for being there. Either the victim of war or the sides that started the war, both of them has the very reason that we can understand and relate to. And it's different from the old mecha genre that has a clear-cut side of justice and crime. It's already there. The robot is there to fight the injustice, the monsters, the menace from outside or outer space that threatens the peace and humanity as a whole. Gundam is not discussing about that only. Yeah? There are so many social and humanistic values that you can see in Gundam. So the next thing is that in the old mecha genre, the protagonist is already seasoned. It means that they are already there. They are already experienced in fighting. They are having the qualities that a hero needs. In Gundam, we are seeing the growth of the protagonist. It's not always like that, but most of them, the Gundam series have a protagonist that was not ready to go to war. And during their journey, they are training and they learn about what they can do to survive, to fight the war. And that's the interesting thing that we can see in almost Gundam anime series. And maybe this is the part that I like, the realistic design of mechanics of the giant robots. You can see that the robot is not all superpower. They have like weakness. They can be broken, although in some series they don't. And sometimes we can see the inside of the robot, the cockpits and so on. So it's really interesting for to the eyes of the boys, yeah, especially those who really like mechanics. And it's different from the old mecha genre. The design is somewhat so fantastic. It's very huge, like 60 meters. Gundam only stand tall at 18 meters, so you can see the difference in heights, yeah. And because of the frequent mature content of Gundam, it's actually labeled as 13+, yeah. And it's different from the old mecha genre that is purely intended for children, so that it's maybe like when we are a child, yeah, I got my share of childhood too, and I've watched the old mecha genre like Voltes V and Voltron. That's intended for children, but not with Gundam. Okay, so let's move. And this is the different charms that continues. I mean, you can see from the left, this is maybe from the traditional view of justice versus injustice. This is the protagonist, the pilots of the first Gundam, the Amuro, the White Devil's pilot, Amuro Ray. He was an introverted and nerdy. He was a very almost antisocial. He was locked himself in his room, designing a robot and so on. And at the first episode, he was forced to pilot a Gundam as a civilian to survive the war. And it turns out that the maker of Gundam is his own dad. Yeah. And as the war progressed, he gradually matured and has high adaptability for the winning factor. That's what special about Amuro Ray. But let's see the antagonist here. Usually the antagonist of a mecha genre is like the bad boy and the bad figures, monstrous physical appearances, but not with Char Aznable. He was really handsome, a genius with a charming personality and physical attractiveness, and having the very reason to fight in the war because his family was slaughtered by the corpse of Republic of Zion, where he was masquerade to have his revenge. Yeah, and actually he was already a seasoned soldier and tactician. So compared to Amuro, actually Char Aznable was having very many winning factor, but that's not always the case. Okay. So from that particular series, the first Mobile Suit Gundam, the Mobile Suit here is the term to refer to the mecha, yeah, to the robot. The first picture on the center, this one, this is the first Gundam. It was aired in 1979 to 1970, and because of some problems, they are gaining the popularity and can start the next series, the Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam, and then the sequel, Mobile Suit Double Zeta Gundam, and this is the trilogy of the 80s, yeah. So you can see that this not every Gundam anime from the original timeline. The list is still very long, so I will just show you the animated TV series, the animation series that actually was aired in TV. In modern times, we have Mobile Suit Gundam Unicorn. It is very popular right now. It has been very popular since 2016. And still in 90s, we come back because this is following the timeline, 79, 87, and so on. The Mobile Suit Victory Gundam that was airing in 93 to 94. Okay, now actually, they are not only giving us the original timeline. We have also the animated TV series, and this is maybe also what the next generation is loving from the Gundam franchise, because they are not only talking about the original timeline. We have very many choices to start from. You can see Mobile Fighter, G Gundam, the Gundam Wing that is very popular in Indonesia around 1999, because that was the time when it first aired. And then Gundam Seed in 2003, that's a boom, yeah, because not only boys, but girls also love this series, Mobile Suit Gundam Seed. And this is the most left below. This is the Gundam Seed. And this is the modern era Gundam series. Now, in other media, we have also the movie cinema anime, like the Charles Counterattack. I only put one example, yeah, for every other media that Gundam is currently airing. We have also games like the Gundam Breaker and the manga or comics. That's the Japanese name for comics. And then we got novels too. So you can expect no pictures here other than the illustration from the Gundam Sentinel novels. And we also have original video animation. The series that's already sold in the form of DVD, like the original Gundam Unicorn. The first release is not a series, but OVA. Okay. Now I would like to talk the reason why communities in Indonesia about Gundam was born. That's because of the most popular Gundam merchandise, which is Gunpla, or you can say the Gundam plastic models. So this first toy line is firstly introduced in 1979, but it becomes popular a year after that, because different from what you traditionally see in boys' toys, you have to assemble these models by yourself, and even you need to paint it. You need to paint the model so you can have the same color as the box says. Well, it's not always like this. It's the old one. So when you are buying the Gundam plastic model now, you actually will have the same color as the box show you. Well, it's quite popular and it's very successful line of toys right now, and making up the 90% of Japanese character plastic model market up to this day. And just in 2015, we got an estimated 450 million units sold worldwide, and across nearly 2,000 different Gundam models. 2,000, you can see that we have so many choices to start. And this is not only for boys, you could also for girls too. But I forgot to show to you right now because of the limited preparation time. So I'll just go with the most standard one. So let's see here. This is the scales. The biggest one is the 148. The most intricate one is 160, and we got 100, 100 and 144. If you want to try for the first time, I suggest you to start from the 144. This is the most complete and the most popular ones, because every Gundam that shows in the anime and other media has at least one HG version, which stands for high grade, and MG master grade and PG perfect grade, and the biggest one, the mega size. This is for you who love big size. So this is model scales, and you also have the other scales as well. We got SD, super deformed. This one that we got the cute looking because it has a deformation shape. And we got also RG, the real grade. This is maybe the latest line. This is in HG size, 144, but the level of intricate is like in master grade. But the simplest one, maybe for those who just started this hobby, is the entry grade. It's very simple. You don't need any tools to assemble it. And the smallest one, the Gundam Artifact, this is for the pro modeler maybe, because it's already, it's only produced in a one color only. So you should paint it, of course, and you have to be very careful because this is very small. Maybe just as tall as your middle finger or pointed finger, Okay. We also have other unique merchandises or collectibles you can find. There are sneakers, t-shirt, and then Nissin Cup noodles, because Sunrise has some joint venture with Nissin Cup. And then we got Gundam head rice cooker. This is very rare, so you need to pre-order it in Japan maybe if you want it. And even we have, we can see a car that is sold in a livery of Charles Aznavour, and it has animation advertisement as well. You can see it on the YouTube. This is Toyota Auris Charles customized color. We got like livery here, like the stickers. It is very nice. for you who are really idolizing Charles Aznavour. Okay, now we got also amusement parks like in Odaiba and Yokohama, and maybe next year in Shanghai. Yeah? And it has different Gundams from time to time. And this is the most left here is RX-78, which has already been disassembled in 2016, and now it's replaced by Gundam Unicorn. And the newest one, this is the Gundam Factory Yokohama. This is the RX-78F00. You can see here. This is 1.1 scale animatronic replica that was helped by Professor Pitoyo Hartono from Waseda University. He's an Indonesian, of course. He's helping building the moving Gundam replica. You can see this is the frame. You can see there are motors, electric motors here everywhere. And yeah, the project involves so many scientists from Gundam and from Japan and all around the world. And we can see the movement here. I'll just show you a little bit so you can have yourself time to see in YouTube maybe.
This is the world's first ever full-scale moving Gundam, and it will activate in 10 seconds.
Okay, that's pretty beautiful, right? It's the dream of every Gundam lovers can have in their entire life, to go there and see Gundam, the huge replica standing in front of them. Yeah, maybe for every Gundam lovers, they will want to go there someday to have like a pilgrimage, because this is the place where Gundam was born. Okay, and we also have the notable Gundam influence in popular culture, like Linkin Park. They actually have like the Gundam 30th anniversary edition, 1000 Suns, and their song, I forgot the title of the song, but the song was used as the soundtrack for the game Gundam Breaker, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. I did not play Gundam games, but this is the real one here. And we got like merchandise, the high grade of Gundam GP01FP that is painted in the library of Linkin Park. And we also have a RX-78 Gundam appearing in the movie Ready Player One. And this is the thing that makes fans screaming out loud in the cinema. And we also have like Unicorn Gundam appearing in the movie Pacific Rim Uprising, maybe some years ago, if I'm not mistaken. So Gundam is becoming so iconic that almost nobody will recognize when Gundam appears. Maybe some who are familiar ones. Okay, and not only that, also the local public figures they have some experiences with Gundam, like Ariel Noah. I know that he was making a content in his YouTube with Gundam, but actually it's also his hobby to assemble a Gundam. In the picture here, you can see that this is a perfect Great Strike Gundam. That's a quite huge one. And we also have Michelle Judith, who loves SD Gundam because she thinks that it's very cute. I think it was one event in Jakarta in Gunpla Expo actually that my friend has sent me, and she was very fond of SD Gundam. Right. Now, this is maybe a little bit off topic, but it's also the thing that makes a communities of Gundam Indonesia thriving. The competition. This is the national and international ones. You can see from the part here that you can have a look at different competition events in Gundam. And for you who maybe has some questions, what are being competing in a Gundam competition? Well, that's a good question, actually. So in Gundam competition, you will be like testing your craftsmanship skills in assembling and painting Gundam. If you can do it very well, maybe you can, charm the judges in the competition, and you will earn a special place in the competition. Now, the international one, I will start with GPWC. This is the event from the company itself. Bandai is the sole owner of Gunpla production license. It's been held since 2003, albeit in a different name. At first, it was named BAKUC, the Bandai Action Kids Universal Cup. But in 2010, it was changed into GPWC, the Gunpla Builders World Championship. It's held every year in 13 countries around the world, with this final round in Japan. Do we have it in Indonesia? Yes. Usually it's held in Kokas, yeah, in Bekasi, I think. The mall, the big mall in Bekasi. Indonesia has so far got the third world champion rank with by Ronald Madi, a Gunpla builder from Temanggung. He was participating in Open A class, the 21 years old and above. So basically, Indonesia has already sent the representatives in GPWC every year, but only last year we got the third world champion rank in the world. Yeah. So this is his work titled Earth Federation Special Force, the tactical unit by Ronald Madi. He was one of my close friends in the Gundam communities, and his achievement is what makes us very proud, because for the first time we can have a position in the big three in the world, right? And regionally, it's also held every year in Indonesia, as I have mentioned before. This is the 2011 winner, but due to COVID pandemic, the 2020 was held online as G40PC. And this year, G40PC champion is Phyllis Sigit, Gunpla builder from Temanggung, also our close friends. And Indonesia has several times have regional champions to represent our country in the final round in Japan, of course. But only last year we finally managed to get the third world champion rank. And this is the last year's 40th contest. Yep. So this is from Indonesia, because it's not over yet. Indonesia 2020 champion. Okay, it's not over yet. So the final round has yet to be held. Maybe we can have a different result this year. Okay, so keep praying. All right, do we have other international competitions? Of course, we have Retsujin in Singapore, and we got OMC in UK, and Makina modeling contest, and Aegon, a gathering of nobles in Philippines. And Malaysia, we have GMKC, the Gundam Model Kit contest, Malaysia. But different from GMKC, actually the other international competitions is also accepting plastic models from model kit brands, as long as they are original, yeah? Right. So basically around Indonesia, we have many competitions that we can join. And this is where the members of communities in Indonesia and the Gundam communities is trying to participate. If we can have another international competition held in Indonesia, or maybe in the local ones that is not appearing in this year, maybe we can test our craftsmanship skills once again, because that's why. It's one reason why we got the Gundam communities in Indonesia. Right, and this is intermezzo a little bit, yeah. This is the part where I share my contribution in the competition. In 2009, this is where I won the first place, and in 2020, I win the third place. Yeah, thank you. So that's the intermezzo, yeah, so it will not last long. Okay. Right, now this is the main topic that we are talking about now. Okay, can the committee shut down the intruding sounds? All right, I will continue with the topic about communities in Indonesia, about Gundam. You can see that there are so many communities in Indonesia. It was quickly growing in 2010s when Facebook introduced groups for communities. Although before that we have Kaskus, yeah, we got Gundam communities there also, but it is, what is it like, appearing more in Facebook because we have very many groups like mushrooming, like from every part of Indonesia. They are using mainly groups in Facebook as the media for interacting and discussing all topics about Gundam and its pervasive media. And usually they have gathering outside the group. For example, if you are in Yogyakarta, you can have gatherings in around Yogyakarta. And the interesting thing is that a group can be made for a very specific purpose. There are groups that mainly focus on building or customizing canvas, so they are sharing tutorials there, or photography, and solely made for commercial purposes, for selling and buying Gundam merchandises. For example, there are even a group that is specializing in SD Gundam only. So there you can only share about Super Deformed Gundam because it has a very special fans in Indonesia, yeah. And the interesting that I found from communities in Indonesia is that they are coming from every ages, races, regions, even lines of work. There are teachers, there are students, there are pilots, there are soldiers, there are businessmen, there are boys and girls. Everyone is joining the groups to share their same interest in the hobby of Gundam. Yeah, either they are watching the anime, they are collecting the toys, and so on. And that's what makes it beautiful. Yeah, and it's been growing up to this day. Now, what do we do in the group? Yeah, in the Gundam community, sometimes we are having gatherings, maybe like once in a month. Other than interacting in Facebook, usually the gathering is held in cafes, and there we can share about our experiences in building Gunplas with others, or we can build the Gunplas together, or we can talk about the anime on the game and everything about Gundam in general. Even we don't talk about Gundam at all, if we have already got the atmosphere. Sometimes it is a place where every member can interact for social purposes. My friends also got his job from another member of the Gundam communities. And that's the good thing about these communities, yeah. And of course, there will be dues for maintaining or sustaining the group operationals. Some groups have no dues at all, but the groups that usually have dues, they have like giveaway events that, of course, you can get the Gundam for free by answering quizzes for members, yeah. And it should be those who attending the gathering, of course. In Jogja itself, we have like, or at least we got 2 groups in Jogja, yeah? And around Jogja, there are other many groups. And in Indonesia in general, we have also one national group at least, yeah. There are so many groups in Indonesia. You can find it easily in Facebook. Now, what is the outreach of those groups, yeah? Well, several groups, they are even actively participating in official Pandai events such as expo or competitions. Some of them sometimes are being trusted to organize official events. And sometimes if the networking is good, the group can invite the international modeler to give coaching or tutorials in building canvas to local modelers. Of course, that's for the purpose of joining the international competitions or maybe in the local competitions to excel in the competitions, of course. And sometimes the groups also were interviewed in radio or even television program, and sometimes they, came out in the local newspapers. Sometimes they are also having a segment in an online podcast in YouTube, which is now growingly popular. Yeah? And you can see almost every channel of Gundam in YouTube has different activities or agendas in a group, yeah, because they are usually having like a cooperation with the groups to fill in the contents for their Gundam channel. Okay, now at first I see that the initial hope is to promote Gundam and Gunpla as an universal hobby, universal ones. I mean that the hobby is actually for anyone from every ages. They can share the same joy in consuming this global popular culture. So no matter who are you, whether you are rich, you are not, you can do the same thing with us in Gundam communities. Although it's originally meant to be consumed by children and teens, yeah. But I say that most of the Gundam members in every Gundam communities in Indonesia has been adults, those who are already working and having families. So I think that there is no boundaries in Gundam. Yeah? There is no border. Everyone can like Gundam in their own way and join the communities. That's the positive thing that I see from Gundam communities, yeah, because that's what shaped my years in diving in this hobby. Okay, so therefore, any Gunpla communities were established upon the mission to improve the members' personalities of characters through deep diving into the Gundam franchise itself. You see that when we are assembling Gundams, we need to be careful and being systematic in assembly process, because the Gunpla needs to be assembled by following the manual. So you need very good controls and patience if you want to have the whole Gunpla in your hands. And that's why, as the core activity of the hobby, the Gunpla assembling can train our patience and increase our creativity and craftsmanship. Whether it's snap building is like assembling the kit, and then the customizing when you create a new shape for the Gunpla, and then we got the repaint when you want to paint differently from the color scheme in the box, or maybe you can make a diorama or toys photography. It has so many levels to enjoy, yeah. And in the broader spectrum, the group gatherings can expand the member social network through community gatherings. This is very important, and this is what Gundam communities can contribute in the society, because when you have the same hobby and interest, it actually break the wall of differences in our society. We can talk about our hobby in general, and after that we see that the person talking about the same hobby with me has come from different social lines, work lives, and maybe different part of the world. If you can actually use that as a benefit to your own self-improvement, actually by joining a Gundam communities, you can broaden your network. Maybe you can get work, you can get job outside your social links, yeah. Maybe you can have other brotherhood or fraternity with other people from other areas. It's so beneficial. There are so many potentials that we can carry out through these Gundam group gatherings, such as the charities. Some groups has already give charities to any cause in Indonesia, and fundraising for social causes and job seeking and etc. It's really the thing that I did not see in other communities. So based on what I have said in this presentation, I just want to say that there is no shame in liking something, although other people see your hobby as childish or maybe immature, but actually you can find the mature side of your hobby by interacting with others that have similar hobbies like you. Maybe you can find that in Gundam, there are so many people that are sharing their same interests with you. You can have the social talks with them. In one occasion, we even have one occasion where some member find their soulmate in the Gundam communities, even until they are married. That's something that is very beautiful, yeah. So that's all I can say about the identity of Gundam communities in Indonesia, and I hope this hobby can thrive in the years to come. And even if we have this pandemic, yeah, I hope that this hobby can survive and grow even bigger. Okay. So I would like to say thanks to all fans of Gundam around the world, all Gunpla builders and enthusiasts, all Gundam communities in Indonesia that I cannot mention one by one. Maybe after this I will share the list of thanks, which is very long. And the Event Talks 9 committee, sorry, it's the wrong number. And you who have spent your time participating actively in these event talks. So that's all from me and from the Gundam spirit in the Gundam culture. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Tisha. It was such
You are
amazing,
welcome.
insightful sessions like Gundam. Apparently, it is just not a hobby, but it also involves the community. Like even people get married because they are in the same community, Gundam community. It's amazing how people could connect in Gundam communities. So the participants must have questions also about this topic because it's very interesting. But before that, we will have ice-breaking sessions. And earlier, Mr. Tisha, we had Mr. Bayunto Samba from KBRI New Delhi.
Yeah. Hello, Pak Bayu.
Yeah, maybe you see the chat, but I think now he left for a meeting, but it's okay.
Okay.
So later on, we will have Q&A sessions, but first we will have ice-breaking sessions. Yay! The ice-breaking will be conducted with Kahoot. Nah, events start Kahoot game sessions. How to play? First, the participants, please open kahoot.it in your browser. You can see on the share screen. Okay, we are waiting for players. So participants, please enter the link. We are waiting for you for the ice breaking. Okay, we are getting more people. You can open kahoot.it, join at www.kahoot.it. You can see the link on the screen. Okay. All of the participants who have joined can enter the game pin. Please enter the game pin 1773885. Actually, it's on the screen. You can read it on the screen. The game pin 1773885. Okay, let's start. We have more players joining in. Okay, start please. What is the theme of today's webinar? Even Talks the Ninth. Answer fast, guys, because we have the time durations. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah. What is the theme of? Oh, yeah, it's still the same questions. It was an easy one. Okay, we have the scoreboard also. Who held the webinar? Miss Arlene mentioned earlier in the opening speech who held this webinar. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Wow, F is in double points, true or false. Miss Arlene Estiana Yumanti is the head of the D4 English student program. True or false? This is easy, the easy one. 3, 2, 1. What is the topic in the first session? First sessions presented by Group 1. Double points, true or false. The topic in second session is the impact of global media on youth culture. Next. Oh, Rama is leading. Sixth question, which is not an example of a youth influencer mentioned in the presentation? And what it means by presentations is the first presentations by group 1. Oh, 25 correct. Rama still leading. Next questions. Double points, true or false. The topic in third session is Borobudur and its sustainable development from the lens of locality. Wow, good job, Rama. Rama still leads. Next. We're almost done. Which one is not true? Borobudur is a Buddhist temple. Borobudur originally built in the 9th century. Borobudur is the world's largest Buddhist temple. Borobudur is located in special region of Yogyakarta, Indonesia. Sandy people correct. Okay, and Rama is still leading. Let's go. Last questions. Double points, true or false. On Friday, March 19th, 2021 will be held webinar event stall 10. True. Here we go, our champion is... Oh, I thought it will be Rama, but okay. Congratulations for Af for winning this ice breaking, and Uls for the second champion, and Kay for the third champion. Thank you so much. It was a nice ice breaking, and I think it was quite easy if you pay attention to the whole webinar, to the whole event stop. The participants must have been waiting for the sessions Q&A. I see several questions in the chat box. We will start from the first questions from let me go through the chat box first. From Sugeng, Mr. Chisha, question from Sugeng. Anime is growing very rapidly in Japan itself without exception in Indonesia itself. Then how is the development of local anime from Indonesia today? Because anime, oh, I lost the questions. Wait. Because the questions keep coming in, so wait. Okay, let me repeat the question. Anime is growing very rapidly in Japan itself without exception in Indonesia. Then, how is the development of local anime from Indonesia today? Because anime is interesting in Indonesia.
Okay. Well, I think that's a quite what is it like? We are pretty much expecting that, yeah, because anime is already an international pop culture right now. So I guess it's only a matter of time until anime comes to this country. Just for your information, only in some other places in the world, in this case is in Arab countries, they are funding an anime production to tell about stories about the world of Arab before civilization. Yeah? It's already having like a trailer and teaser, and that's quite good actually. So I think it's a pretty, what is it like, positive to our side now, because anime is also a universal form of entertainment. It's not only for a specific group of people, it's for everyone in general. Can have anime for girls, for boys, for children, for teens, for adults. We can enjoy anime no matter who we are. I think that's my answer.
Thank you, Mr. Chisha. Heading to the next question because we have so many questions.
All right, no problem.
Questions from Awal. Bagaimana pendapat Anda tentang gatekeeping dalam komunitas, khususnya di komunitas Gundam? How's your opinion about gatekeeping?
All right. So for those who maybe have questions about what is gatekeeping, gatekeeping is like when a certain veterans or people who has already been in the hobby long before you came is like protecting in their own ways about the hobby that you are now joining. For example, like modern Gundam has no spirit like the old Gundam series. That's one phrase that I keep hearing from the veterans outside. For me, the gatekeeping is not something that is threatening the hobby in general. It's actually adding the colors of how we enjoy this hobby, because that's quite, what is it like, normal. Of course, those who have already started in this hobby before us will feel like the hobby is no longer relevant for me. So I want to say something from what I have already enjoyed, and that's fine. And I think for the new followers or the new fans of Gundam, you don't need to be worried about that. Maybe you can also learn something from that gatekeeping, yeah? Like what Wiseman says, take the positive and throw out the negatives. I, as a Gundam fan that maybe is not really a senior ones, I got one and many things that I can learn from those gatekeeping incidents, yeah. And I learned many things about that, and it gives me a clear picture about this hobby. So I don't think that's quite, what is it like, negative or frowned upon phenomena in this hobby. You can still enjoy this hobby, even the person who has already enjoyed this hobby long before you tell you that you are just loving the skin of this hobby. No problem. Everyone has the right to enjoy the hobby as the way he wants to or she wants to. Okay, that's my answer.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chisha, for the answers. Next questions from Dava Marcel. Gundam merupakan anime mecha yang mengusung tema yang realistik, which in this case is anti-war message. Tetapi dengan adanya robot-robot keren malah membuat mayoritas orang menginginkan Gundam asli yang bisa bertarung. Dilihat dari ini, bukankah ini malah bertolak belakang dengan pesan yang ingin disampaikan dalam
Okay. Well, can I answer now? Right.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So thank you, Mas Marcel, for the question. I think I know the person. So yeah, that's the logical thing. Yeah. When we see that the cool robots are being fighting each other, of course we want to have someday piloting the cool Gundams in the real battle. But that's only the initial picture that we have when we consume Gundam. Yeah, that's maybe the first thing we want to do when we first enjoy this hobby. I think after you have consumed this popular culture for a while, you will finally realize that Gundam is just the outer skin. So basically, no matter what kind of cool war instruments that you are using, either this is Gundam or other robots, actually the message that the creator of Gundam wants to convey is that the war is the destruction of humanity. It only destroys families, kills the innocent people, and severs the peace that every human being are dreaming of. That's the message that is clearly given out by the creators of Gundam, and not just, oh, this is a cool robot, I want to use it to go to war. That's not the message. That's the impression that you will have when you first enjoying this hobby, but that's not the message. But that's pretty normal, and it's only a matter of time until you realize the core values of Gundam actually. Although I cannot say the same for the current series, yeah, but you know what I mean, yeah. It's not about a message to go to war, yeah. It's actually clearly the opposite. Okay, that's I can answer about the question. Okay, Miss Ninda.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Fisha, for the answers. Actually, we have several questions left, but I think I will choose one for the last questions from Reed. The question is, dengan skala model kit Gundam, skala berapa yang populer dan dapat dieksplorasi oleh pemula yang suka merakit Gundam? Lalu terkait dengan kriteria pemenang kontes Gundam, kriteria apa saja yang dinilai dari suatu model yang dipilih dan dirakit sehingga dapat ditetapkan sebagai pemenang? Terima kasih.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, this is based on your preference, yeah. So it depends on what you want to do. If you want to go to competition, I suggest you to start from a minimum high grade, yeah, and after that maybe you can start to assemble the master grade, the 1 and 100, because that's the scale that modelers around the world are using in competition. But of course, if you want to do with high grade, the 1144, it's also okay, but you have to make sure that it fulfills the qualities that the judges wants you to show from your work. Okay, and for the criteria of the champion, the winning, I think there are 3 basic things that the judges will see. Yeah, the first is the craftsmanship, how you can assemble the Gundams to fulfill your imagination. You can arrange the Gundam in the different ways that maybe the other person never made before. And the second one, the second criteria is the presentation, how you present your own work. So after the craftsmanship, you will need to show that you can present the imagination that you have with the Gundam pretty clear and well, yeah. And the last one, maybe the quality of the paintings. Of course, the craftsmanship and followed by the presentation will not do okay, will not do very fine if you don't paint it professionally. So I think you can start from the last one. Yeah, you need to hone your skills in painting Gundam first before you go for craftsmanship and the presentation, because presentation needs several skills that are different. Presentation is like how you explore your concept in the real 3D, three-dimensional piece of work. And that will need a lot of training, a lot of experiences. So all you need to do is keep practicing, assembling Gunpla, painting it, and then trying to combine with other shapes, other methods, customizing it, and then show your imaginations in the three-dimensional shape of your imagination. Okay, I think that's the general thing I can say about the question.
Thank you so much, Ler, for the answers. And maybe because we have unanswered questions, they can reach you through your social media, maybe Instagram, or which social media you prefer to be contacted.
Okay. Right. Actually, I mainly use my Facebook. Yeah, I got Instagram too, but I mainly use Facebook because there are many communities that I belong to, and there are some many fans of Gundam. Gathering there. So it's mainly in Facebook. You can search Nugraha in Facebook, and space Graha. That's my account in Facebook.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. So for the participants, if you want to reach Mr. Chisha or join in the same Gundam community as Mr. Chisha joins, you can search him on Facebook. Thank you so much once again, Mr. Chisha. It's very interesting talk with you about Gundam phenomenon and how actually the Gundam embodies the Japan community. So before we go to the closing, from the committee would like to give you gift. It's a virtual gift from the community.
Thank you.
Maybe the community will send outside this Zoom.
Okay, thank you. No problem.
Okay, so we are heading to the closing of the event. Thank you so much for joining. Before we close this event, we will have photo session. So for all of the participants, please turn on the camera. Okay, the media team ready? While we are waiting for the participants. The participant who hasn't opened their camera, please turn on your camera because we are having photo session. Okay. Okay, I'll count on 3. Smile, please. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, next slide. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Thank you. And then the third slide. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Thank you. And then the last slide. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for all of the participants, and once again, thank you for Mr. Cisha Dewantoro Nugraha as our speaker today, and also for the student presenters that have presented their presentations earlier. Before you guys leave the Zoom, please fill the evaluations form. The link is on the chat box. So you need to fill the evaluation form in order to get e-certificate. Okay. Thank you all for today. My name is Karen Desregar, and I would like to apologize if there's mistakes on behalf of the team. So see you on the Event Talks 10, because we are having the next event talk this month. So see you guys. Bye.
Thank you. All
Thank you, Mas Cisha.
organizers and
Thank you all presenters.
You are very welcome.
Thank you, committee, for making this happen.
Grammarly does more than catch errors. With Grammarly, you can